Hello and welcome back to another video. So if you've seen any of my videos before, you probably know by now that I really don't like refreshing my hair. Instead, I usually say I much prefer to do a hairstyle. So I thought I would actually show you some of the hairstyles that I do instead of just talking about them or referring to them once in a while. And if you're new here, my name is Michelle. I'm a licensed hairstylist with over 20 years of experience. And on this channel, I use those 20 years of experience to help you have healthy, happy hair. So we're starting off with actually day 2 hair, and my hair doesn't look too bad. I actually would just leave this down and wouldn't feel like I needed to refresh it or put it up or anything like that. But for the purposes of this video, I will be going ahead and doing some styles to my second day hair. Normally I wait until about day 3 or day 4. Basically, after day 4, it all just goes up in a ponytail or a bun on my head, and then I just forget about it. So let's just get into it with the first style. It is actually probably the simplest, and what I do is I usually leave some of the hair down, and I'll leave usually a lot of this and just grab one of these pieces off to the side. And a lot of times I'll try to make sure I've got close to an even amount. As you can see, I don't really part my hair. I mostly just let it fall wherever it wants to fall. But I will sometimes, because I've already got this front part parted, I will sometimes just kind of grab from the other side to try to make it a little bit even on both sides when I'm putting it up. And then I'll just grab a little bit of handful, leave most of this down. Unfortunately, my counter is a little bit away, so I have to do the whole reaching thing. But anyway, I grabbed one of these clips. I really love using these claw clips, and most of these styles are going to be featuring these claw clips in various sizes. This is good for taking about this much hair, and I just go ahead and put that up, and then I'll kind of play around with it to get it to fall right. And usually by the time I'm done with this, I put it up, and if I have anything that's weird, I'll take a little bit of Verb Ghost Oil on my fingertips, and I will kind of do some finger coiling in some trouble spots. So now on this side, I do the same thing over here, and I just leave down however much hair I want to leave down. And it looks like this strand could have gone to the other side, but that's all right. We'll just go ahead and put it in over here, and we'll leave that gray streak hanging down. And that's supposed to go in the back, wherever it's going to go. I'll grab my other claw clip and put that in and just kind of check to make sure that everything's nice and even. And sometimes I'll push it forward to get a little bit of volume up in the front. I'm not a big fan of really slicked, flat hairstyles. I do really like to keep some of the texture and some of the volume and some of the lift in there. So this is what I do, and this just kind of pulls most of it back, gets a good majority of it out of my face. And so here's what this one looks like, and it's probably the one I go for the most often because it's super quick. Just pop in those 2 clips, you're good to go. Use a little bit of Verb Ghost Oil or some other serum if you really need it. Today, I really don't, so this is what it looks like, and I'll show you the back real quick. And now that we've taken that one out, I'm going to go ahead and show you number 2. And again, I'm going to leave some pieces hanging down in the front just because I really like some face framing pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that one down, and then I'm going to go right here to the top of my ear, and I'm just going to go straight up with it and then gently separate it from the rest of my hair. And this does kind of create a little bit of frizz, which is certainly why I don't like doing this on wash day, because I don't want to mess up a really good wash day. However, if my wash day was a fail, I have no problem putting my hair up. So then I do the same thing on the other side. I just determine how many little pieces I want hanging down. And because of my hairline, I tend to go and grab like this piece here, so it'll be a little bit asymmetrical, but I don't mind that. I don't need everything to be perfectly symmetrical. In fact, the asymmetrical kind of gives it a little bit more interest. So do the same thing over here. I just separate that out and I bring it up to the front. And again, I don't like really slicked back looks, so I usually just use my fingers just to kind of bring it up and smooth it out a little bit, but still leave a little bit of that natural texture and wave and whatever is going on in there. And yeah, I get a little bit of this frizz and whatnot, and I'll show you what to do about that in a second. So I basically bring these up to meet up at the top of my head, and then I grab another one of these, same size clip, and then I'm pushing my hair forward, if you can see, just to keep it nice and full and get a little bit of volume right up and through here and a little height, just because I like that. And I'm short, I'm 5'3", so I need all the help I can get with height. But anyway, so that's what I like to do there. And then with these sides, if there's, you know, any kind of frizziness or anything like that, again, you could take some serum and run it up along there. And then another thing that you could also do is go ahead and use some working spray and spray that on here and smooth it. And I'm not going to demonstrate this until the very final hairstyle, just because then my hair will get really kind of all gunked up with a whole lot of stuff by the time I get there. But I would just spray it on and then smooth it and smooth it and smooth it. And then you could even spray it in here, kind of arrange these where you want. And then if you really wanted this to kind of pop up a little bit more and bring these curls a little bit further up, you could grab a hold of them like this, arrange them where you want them to go, and then grab one of these teeny tiny little clips and then kind of clip up from underneath and put it in right there. And it'll mostly be hidden by your hair, and it helps if you pick some that matches your hair. And then you can just kind of fix whatever weird things are sticking out all over the place and get some of those curls to really pop up and to hide some of the things that you don't want. So you can do that, or you can just leave it as is and just touch this up with a little bit of serum and then maybe even spray it in place. You could kind of grab it like that and spray it as well. I try to keep things very simple, so I will just usually do this and then fix any frizz that I've got going on, which now I have more going on because I've been messing with my hair. So I would just take some serum to that and smooth it all down and put everything in place where I want it to be. And then this is what we've got going on here. And my favorite part of this style is actually what it looks like in the back, because it creates some nice cascading curls back there. So that's the back. Here's a good look at this one from the front again. And the sides, and the sides. So for the next style, it's actually going to be very similar to this one, except for I'm using a different clip, which is going to give it a different look. This clip brings everything together in the middle and gives a little bit of height up in here. And this one will do something completely different. It'll kind of flatten it out and bring things out a little bit more here. And this is a clip that I've talked about on my channel before. It was a while ago. I did Hairstyles. Basically a lot of just quick, easy updos, mostly using different sizes of these clips. And I got these from LilaRose.com. I think they do like direct sales, like it might even be an MLM, but you can actually buy it directly from a website and you don't have to go through any sort of distributor. I am not one. I do not get anything from this whatsoever. I just really like these clips because they're very adjustable. They've got the different notches so that you can adjust them to the thickness of whatever amount of hair that you grab. And like I said, they come in different sizes. This is the size that I use when I twist my hair, all of my hair up and hold it in place with this. And this is when I do kind of a half up where I grab more hair and bring it lower in the back. And I'll show you that in a little bit. This is the one I'm going to be using now, and it's a size small, I think. And I'm just going to be using the same amount. So I'm actually going to just keep the same amount of hair up here that I already have, and I'm just going to go ahead and put this in. And so all I do for this is I slide the pin in, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to see. I slide that pin in, and then I bring that over and I grab it on the other side and I put the pin through the loop. And then again with the arranging and the fluffing and the fixing. So here's that one after the fixing and the arranging, or at least up here. And again, like I said, I would smooth a lot of this frizz down with some Verb Ghost Oil. And with this one, because of the way that that sits, it's sitting in pretty much the same spot the clip was. However, just because of how it holds the hair, you don't see as much of the curls that are being held by it in the front. You'll mostly see everything pulled more to the back with this kind of clip. So I'm just going to give you a look at the back. So there's the back. Some nice cascading curls going on back there. And like I said, I would definitely work on some of the frizzy spots. So that is one more look at this hairstyle from the side and the side. And now we'll move on to the next one. So for the next one, we're still gonna grab that same amount of hair that I had up before. And this time we're gonna make sure it's completely separated from all of the rest of the hair. And then I'm gonna be putting in one of these, and I'm going to put it in kind of lower than where I actually want it to appear. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put that in until I've got a nice snug hold. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab it from underneath and I'm gonna flip it up. And then when it's flipped up, I'm just gonna go ahead and put another one of these clips in, and it's barely gonna hold my hair, but it's gonna give me a little bit of fluff and volume. And once you turn around to the front, then you would sit and kind of arrange everything how you want it to look. And again, at this point, you could use the smaller clips to kind of hold things in place and kind of lift things up if you want to, or you can just leave it and let it fall however you want it to. So here's what this one looks like after all the kind of fluffing and tucking and arranging. And the thing I like about this one is it gives you kind of a nice little crown of curls, and I'll show you what it looks like from the side and then what it looks like from the back. And a lot of times this will split and you'll see the clip, but that's fine. Nice little crown of curls with some pieces hanging down in the front to frame the face. And moving on to the next one. Okay, for the next one, I'm actually going to be taking a larger amount of hair because I'm going to be using this larger size clip. So I've let it back down, and I'm still going to leave down approximately the same amount of pieces of hair. And then I'm just going to carefully separate again. See, now I'm getting even fuzzier and fuzzier as I go along. But that's the nature of doing several different hairstyles in one video. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Leave down the pieces of hair that I want to leave out. I just like doing this. I think it kind of softens everything up. And you know, at my age, I need a little bit of softening around the face. I don't need anything to be harsh. And then I'm just gonna kind of work back some of these lumps and bumps. But again, I'm not going to slick it or brush it like really flat or anything like that. I don't mind a little bit of the texture of my hair showing through. I think that's kind of the beauty of curls. So I just let it do its thing. And once I have it kind of all figured out mostly where I like it, then I just go ahead and grab this. And again, I just slide underneath and I pick up some of the hair that's underneath what I've grabbed, and then I just go across, and there we go. And this one keeps a good majority of your hair out of the way, and it does that cascading curl effect again. And then from the front, when you throw your hair over your shoulders, you can't see it, but then when you look at it like this one is one of those that actually looks significantly better from the back than it does from the front. I tend to throw it all over. I don't like when this comes forward because it kind of looks a little wonky when it comes forward like this because there's nothing up here and then there's this fluff down here. But I do like how it looks in the back and from the side. So there's the back again. And now moving on to the very last hairstyle. This one is going to be 90s inspired. Well, not exactly inspired so much because I actually used to wear my hair like this a lot back in the 90s. However, back then my hair was a lot shorter. I used to usually keep it collarbone length and shorter. So we'll see how it turns out with the added length to it. But what I used to do is it's actually those twists, and you've probably seen them where a lot of people do really like perfect partings, and then they twist their hair back. They'll even do it when it's wet and get this really slicked look with these rows. And Like I said, I'm not a fan of anything slicked, and I didn't care too much for the very visible partings. And instead, I kind of came up with my own way of doing it. So I would grab this section in the front and leave some hair down. So I actually used to leave only these little side bits and pull the front section back. And so I would grab all of this going back, and again, no perfect partings because I hate them on myself. They look really cute on other people. I just never really liked them. And I like things that are a little bit softer rather than super harsh. So I would just pull this back, and then I would determine which way to twist it, and I would start twisting it. But I wouldn't worry too much about the twists being perfect or starting way up here. The whole point was just to help give it a little bit of movement. And then I take one of these really small clips and I just go ahead and secure it in place. And then I would keep doing that. So I would grab this section here. And again, nothing perfect. And I would twist this one upwards. You can kind of twist it in whatever direction you want. This is just what I did. And then I would put in another little clip right there. And then I'd grab this last little section right here and I would twist it going upward. Kind of get this hair out of the way. And this one I would actually bring up to meet everything else because I want the curls to cascade down. So rather than bring it straight back, I would bring it up to meet those. And then again, use another tiny little clip and clip it in place. And then I would bring all of those little cascading curls forward. And then usually this is where I would start bringing in my working spray. So since this is the final style, I'll start showing you that. So I would bring it forward and kind of fluff and tuck. That's the great thing about the working spray is you can sit and play around with it before it sets in place. So I have that on that side, and as you can see, it gives me this nice kind of halo of cascading curls. And like I said, my hair used to be shorter back then, so it used to do that a lot easier because all of the pieces were much shorter. So basically, as soon as I put it back there, I just had kind of an explosion of these little curls back there, and it was great. And then I would just go on to the other side, and again, leaving pieces down and enough to cover up my funky hairline up front. And then I would twist it going in this direction towards the center and secure it. And then I would grab the last little bit and again, twist it going upward. And secure it again. And then again, bring all of these little curls forward from the back. And not all of them are coming from the back because there's a lot of hair up here. So I would just bring some of them forward. And the point there is to kind of cover up some of those little clips, especially those ones on the side. I always liked those to be covered. I didn't care if the ones on the top were seen. I just really liked covering up the ones on the sides. So you just kind of sit there and play around with it and arrange. Use some spray, spray into place, tuck things down, however you want it to look. And then there you have another crown of curls. And it kind of looks, like I said, like you have a headband in, except for a little bit better, and you don't have to deal with the headband digging into your ears. I know they do have that Zazzy band now, but the Zazzy band kind of flattens it here and puts more height or weight or whatever out at the sides, whereas I like things to kind of be built up more at the top, probably because, like I said, I'm short, I need all the height I can get, so I like to build it up with my hair. Here's a final look of what this one looks like. In the back, which is not looking too great anymore because of all the times that it has been separated and pulled apart. It is now frizzy and fluffy, and ordinarily I definitely have more defined curls back there, but it's just a big fluffy frizz bomb right now. But otherwise, if this was the only thing that I was going to be doing with it, it definitely would not look that bad back there, but it does because, you know, it's now hairstyle number 5, or I think 5, 6, 4, I don't know. I'll have to put it up here because I forgot. Anyway, yeah. These are the styles that I typically do with my hair. This one I don't do so much anymore. I liked this a lot better when my hair was shorter, but I do like it even though it is longer, and I do leave things asymmetrical. I might even, you know, even it up a little bit or whatever, but it doesn't bother me to have asymmetrical hair. I kind of like that look. I think it just kind of looks a little bit more natural, and it's a lot more fun. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.